Howdy y'all, Fuzzy Biker here, and welcome to Throwback Thursday. We're in the mighty Minnetropolis of Barney, Iowa, and look what Baxter Cycle has laid out for us today. This is a 1966 or 67, I'm not sure which year, they only made these 2 years, Triumph Mountain Cub, T20 Mountain Cub. It's a 200cc, single cylinder, air-cooled, 4-speed. Here's the big one, no battery, but yet it's a coil ignition, little hot rod. Just a pretty little motorcycle. These are very collectible. It's got a lot of interesting components. We'll talk about that here in a bit. But just a very just a gorgeous little bike. I've been meaning to do a video of this for a long time, or one like this. They've had a couple come in and out. And anyway, today's the day we're going to do that. So, like I said, 199 cc's, overhead valve, air cooled. Isn't that fin work just gorgeous? Look at those lines, those oil lines. Single cylinder, the cam's down here, points are under that cover. It's got what's called an energy transfer ignition, which means there's something on the crank that produces energy to power the headlight, taillight, and all that stuff, but there is no battery. Look at that, isn't that just gorgeous? The fin work and all that stuff, I mean, I just find that beautiful. It's got an Amal carburetor, looks like a monoblock right there. I don't know what size that is. Here's the air cleaner right here. You can see the finning right there, or the meshing, I guess it is. This is a tool kit. Let's come on to the other side. Little tool kit right here. It's a dry sump, so here's the oil tank. Isn't that neat? Look at all that delicate, like just, hey, look at that. There's an air pump right there. You all see that? Ah, kind of cool. 4-speed. It's got a wet clutch, kickstart only, of course. Got the bash plate on the bottom. They all had that, I guess. This, you know, artistic, I call it artistic. I love the way these things look. I just love the way these engines look. You know, it's a unit engine. Everything one piece. It's got this offset pea shooter muffler. Isn't that gorgeous? I believe that's either factory or a factory replacement. You know, something that looks factory. Kind of a good look there, isn't it? Just a gorgeous thing. 19-inch front wheel. Look at that little tiny drum brake. I mean little, look at that. I don't know what this bike weighs. I would guess it's in the 250 pound range maybe. 19-inch front wheel. I think the rear is an 18. Yeah, it is an 18. There's a speedo drive right there. Look at this light little frame, you know. Metal fenders, of course. Taillight, the classic Triumph seat with the top gray and the black sides. Enclosed shocks. The mechanical foot brake, the drums inside the hub. There's the sprocket. You can replace the sprocket if you want. Here's the brake. Microelectronics from the day. I get a kick out of that. You know, it's even got rear foot pegs. You know, passenger seat. Isn't that crazy? These are supposed to put out about 15 horsepower. Look how delicate this is. I mean, isn't that just wow, you know? Little knob. You don't have to use tools to get that adjusted. Adjusters for the rear chain, for the chain. Just a gorgeous thing. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous bike. And then look at this kickstand. Look at this right here. Big buildup right there. Kind of an interesting thing. Very, very interesting. What else do I have here? This was the predecessor to this was something called a Terrier, which was a 150cc. And I don't really know much about that, and I couldn't find one in here anywhere. By the way, here's another T20M right there, Mountain Cub, and then these are also 200s right here. These are more street version. We'll walk around and look at those here in a second. But just look at this front end. Isn't that just gorgeous? You know, the metal stays, the metal fender, the covered forks. The front forks were supposed to be similar to a T100 of the time from the early 60s. I don't think they were a direct replacement, but they were supposed to be heavier like those were on that bike. On a T100. But look at that tank. Isn't that just, you know, the orange inside there, the white, this badging. Just a beautiful thing. The giant knee pads, flat cap. Just a real wow thing to my eye. Let's just stay up there. Kind of a wide set of bars for a little motorcycle. This is probably a horn or a kill switch. One is probably a kill switch, the other is probably a horn. Clutch adjustment, brake adjustment right there. Anything down there? Nope. It's all up here. A little Smith gauge right there, probably magnetic. Smith's gauge, yeah. These are your headlights controls here, most likely. I'm not sure what that is. I really don't know what these buttons do, knobs do. But anyway, there's no battery, so none of these will run unless you have the bike running. Very interesting. I was talking to the mechanics here, and they were telling me that these are actually very difficult to restore. They said there's not a stock one on the planet, and when people get them, they've been changed so much that when they order parts, you know, they have this on their bike or this kind of wheel or that kind of whatever, and they expect the same thing to come in the mail, and it's they get what the original one had, and that may be different. So it's quite an interesting, interesting story bike. I don't know what this is, except I think it hits the frame. They're kind of a stop. Let's look over here. Yeah, here you can see it hitting the frame. They have kind of like a nylon ball or something like that. Very interesting. Anyway, a beautiful little bike. Enclosed shocks, I may have already said that already. Speedo drive on the back. There is no tax, so there's nothing like that to worry about. Just a little wonder, isn't it? The fellows here at the shop are telling me that these are about the best of the 200s made. 66, 67, I think is what they said. I think I already said 15 horsepower. Anyway, neat little bike. Just a neat little bike. Let's walk over here and take a look at the other ones. So this is the other one that they have sitting here. And this one has a tag. Triumph 1967 Mountain Cub 200. There's the tag price on it. Now this is a T20. It's the road version, 1960, 200cc. And this one is also a 1960 Tiger Cub Sport. I don't know what that means. More chrome, maybe? Boy, those are good looking bikes, aren't they? Anyway, so these three and that one right now. Look at the forks in this one, how tiny they are. That's really different. They were saying, well, I think I mentioned that the T20M had the heavier forks, and you can really see the difference there. Look at these versus that. This also has the nacelled head up in the front. Very interesting. Anyway, a beautiful little motorcycle. I rather like it. I've looked at it 100 times through here, or one like it, and I find it very interesting. Just a nifty little bike. I think I could stare at this thing all day long. I really get a kick out of that air pump down there. Made in England, it says right there. Wow. Anyhow, if y'all are interested in something like this, or Nortons, or Triumphs, or BSAs, or Ariels, or hey, back there they've got an Ariel Square 4, or a Royal Enfield's back there, or if you need parts for your project or information, get hold of Baxter Cycle. They can help you out. If the weather's great where you're at, get out and ride, my friends. Wahoo!